The movie opens in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where Mark Kerr is about to fight his first professional freestyle wrestling match. At the time, Mark was considered one of America's best fighters, and his opponent, Paul Varlarens, was an experienced professional with 8 years in the sport. As the match begins, Mark immediately takes Paul down and attacks him with knee blows to the face, followed by brutal punches. With this, Mark wins his debut match, though he is concerned about his opponent's condition. This marked Mark's entry into the wrestling world, where he quickly began to dominate every competitor with his raw strength and skill. His aggressive, powerful style made him a sensation. He went on to win his first championship in Brazil. Meanwhile, in 1997 Alabama, during an interview, Mark discusses his physical and mental preparation and the importance of controlling his emotions in critical moments. As he prepares for his next match, he's in excellent shape, fit, bulked up, and confident. Later, in 1999, he is seen in a hospital with bruised eyes during a routine medical checkup after several matches. At home, Mark is happy with his girlfriend Dawn, who supports him in every possible way throughout his career. During the off-season, he trains intensely, with Dawn always by his side. One day, while searching for a medicine box, Mark finds a drug labeled as addictive, yet he occasionally injects it. Later, Mark travels to Japan for the Pride 7 Championship. There, he learns from his agency that his contract won't be renewed and that he must fight this month without one. He suggests finalizing an agreement before the match. He also reunites with Coleman, his old competitor from 1988 and now close friend and manager. While exploring, Mark picks up a souvenir for Dawn at a local shop. Soon, he is set to face Vov Chon Chin, a powerful and famous fighter. During a press meeting, the officials announced new rules: no biting, squeezing, head blows, or knee strikes to the head in specific positions. Dawn travels to Japan to surprise Mark, but he reacts strangely, which angers her, leading to a quarrel before the match. The upcoming fight is considered a major clash between two giants. Initially, it seems Mark has the upper hand, but as the fight begins, Igor lands several punches. Mark appears confused by the new rules and struggles to adapt. Then, Igor takes him down and delivers knee blows to his head, knocking him out and winning the match. The audience is shocked by the result. Mark is upset, believing Igor's knee strikes were illegal under the new rules. He confronts the tournament officials, accusing the referee of incompetence and insisting he didn't lose. Devastated by the result, Mark struggles emotionally. Coleman consoles him, while Dawn, too, worries since Mark hasn't seemed normal. Later, the tournament chief informs him that the fight result is being reviewed and that he will remain in the competition. Meanwhile, Dawn tries to keep their relationship steady, but Mark doesn't understand her, and arguments continue. When Igor later arrives, he and Mark have a friendly talk and take a picture together, leaving Dawn out of it, which makes her sad. Soon after, Mark tries convincing a doctor to prescribe him a strong medication, but the doctor refuses without proper permission. Dawn tries to stop him from pushing for the drugs. At home, Mark begins acting strangely again, becoming aggressive, but Dawn manages to calm him down. Meanwhile, Coleman spends time with his family when he gets a call from Dawn. Mark has collapsed from an overdose and isn't waking up. Coleman rushes to the hospital, where he confronts Mark about what happened. Mark tries to hide his drug addiction, but Coleman, his best friend, urges him to quit. Frightened for his life, Mark listens as Coleman reminds him that everyone cares for him and wants him back. This moment hits Mark deeply. He gathers all his drugs and disposes of them. He then checks into a rehabilitation center, while Coleman heads to Japan for his own match. Without Mark there for support, Coleman faces pressure, but despite his age being questioned, he attacks his opponent with fierce power and wins the fight, keeping his career alive. Meanwhile, Mark completes rehab and enjoys an amusement park date with Dawn, who is happy to see him fully recovered. During an event, Mark feels uneasy watching cars crash violently, triggering memories of his fight with Igor. Later, he and Dawn argue over small things. Dawn confides in Jacqueline about Mark's constant anger and tendency to find fault in her. One evening, as Dawn takes pills for a headache, Mark asks her not to do it in front of him, since he's just out of rehab. This sparks a huge argument. Mark calls her behavior inappropriate, and during the fight, he calls Jeff, which angers Dawn even more. She breaks a gift and leaves. At a championship press conference, Japanese fans express disappointment over Mark's drug issues. Mark addresses them, promising to work hard to regain their trust and prove himself again. In California, Mark returns to Boss' routine for training. Boss teaches him strategies to counterattack when down. Training is brutal, but Boss pushes him hard until Boss tears a ligament. Mark offers Boss some pain medication from his bag, but after using them, he throws the rest away and continues training relentlessly, day and night, fully clean and determined. The Pride Grand Prix opening rounds approach, and all eyes are on the match between Mark Kerr and Anson Inoue, with the possibility of a future fight between Kerr and Coleman if both advance. Mark and Coleman interact with fans, who cheer them on, signing autographs together. On the night of the tournament, Coleman dominates his match and defeats his opponent, securing his advancement. Eagle also wins his bout, moving into the final rounds. Then it's time for Mark's match against the fierce Anson Inoue, a major test of whether Mark still has what it takes. The fight begins, and Mark overpowers Anson with powerful blows, knocking him out and claiming victory, marking his comeback. Coleman rushes to congratulate him, and both men, now friends and rivals, realize they'll face each other next for a $200,000 prize. Mark tells Coleman he always knew they'd meet in the ring. Meanwhile, Dawn returns to Mark with the repaired bowl she once broke, and they share a kiss, reconciling. Base, however, worries about Dawn's influence on Mark. As the week of training continues, tension builds. One night, Dawn questions why Base and Coleman called him, suspecting they didn't want her to go to Japan. Mark insists he needs to focus on his big match and doesn't want distractions. Dawn argues that she wants to share in his struggles, but Mark dismisses her, calling her selfish and telling her to leave. Dawn runs into the bathroom, takes drugs, and locks the door. Concerned, Mark breaks it down and hugs her. Later, police investigate the incident, and Dawn is taken away after her attempted overdose. Meanwhile, Coleman faces another crucial match that could earn him a fight with either Fuja or Mark. He faces Akira Koji and completely dominates, impressing everyone with his skills. After his victory, attention turns to the match between Kazuyuki Fuja and Mark. Initially, Mark lands several knee strikes, but Fuja fights back, takes Mark down, and lands powerful blows. During the match, Mark flashes back to memories of Coleman, Dawn, and his friends. Ultimately, Mark loses and is knocked out of the tournament. At his medical checkup afterward, Mark tells Boss he felt frozen and couldn't move. Coleman visits him, and Mark tells him it's all in his hands now. The final battle begins between Igor and Coleman. As Mark gets stitches, Coleman dominates the fight, trapping Igor in a corner and landing several knee blows until Igor gives up. Coleman wins the Pride Grand Prix 2000 championship. Mark, watching from the bathroom, smiles proudly for his best friend's victory. 10 days later, Mark and Dawn get married. Mark retires from professional fighting in 2009, and both he and Coleman are remembered as pioneers of the sport.